Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to tonight's live chat. My name is Becky Ahrens. I'm the Director of Financial Aid here at Drury. And I have with me four current Drury parents who have very graciously agreed to share their experiences about Drury and what their students are going through here on campus. So lots of good information that you're going to hear tonight. Please send us your questions. We'd love to be able to answer those. You can do that online, and we'll be glad to answer any questions that you have. So get those questions rolling into us. So let's start with each of you. Tell us a little bit about your student. What's your student's name? What high school did they attend? What are they involved in here on campus? What are they majoring in? And why did they choose Drury?
Okay, wow, there was a lot of questions.
That was a lot.
Okay,
Yes.
I know. I remember them all. But our daughter, Riley, she is a junior here at Drury. She attended Springfield Catholic High School and then also actually Central High School too, so both. And let's see here, she's double majoring in biology and theater. And oh my goodness, what was the other question you had? There was a lot. Like, why did she choose Drury?
Yeah, why did she choose Drury?
Well, she looked kind of all over. We went to SLU, we went to Baylor, we looked in Colorado, we looked Mizzou, we kind of went everywhere. And she just really felt the most at home at Drury. And we came in for a day where they do the chores, and she sat in on a chem class, and we just kind of poked our heads in, and she was watching. And when we left, the professor actually left the class and came out and introduced himself to her and said, "Oh my gosh, we'd love to have you come, and we're super excited that you might be coming here." And she was so impressed. She was like, that would never happen in a big school. And so she just knew that was the kind of school that she wanted to be at.
Okay.
So,
Christy?
So my daughter's Mackenzie. She is a sophomore here at Drury. She's a double major in business and Spanish. So really what brought her here, and we, again, like Ursula, we looked at several different places. She attended Springfield Catholic. So I think the smaller class sizes for her were somewhat important when looking at universities. She is a soccer player, so she's played since she was like 3 or 4. So for her, she connected with the coach they had at the time here, and she obtained a scholarship to play soccer. So she loves the idea of being able to continue the sport and also get a great, I guess, degree here locally at a great university.
Okay, wonderful.
So our daughter is Madison. She's a junior. She went to Marshfield High School, that's where we live, and her major is elementary education. She put all her eggs in one basket right from the jump. She's like, Drury is where I want to go. It's the only college that she applied to. It's the only one we visited. Her dad and I were a little worried, but
A lot worried.
she made it work. And
Okay.
she loves it here.
Great.
What drew her was the class size and the community.
Okay. Wonderful. Well, thank you all for introductions of your students. Before we get any farther, first of all, thank you all. I see lots of questions rolling in, so that's really great. But we do have a giveaway to do. So I have a bucket full of names here, and Ursula, I'm going to let you draw a name.
okay. Ooh.
Phil,
Very
good.
exciting.
Good one.
No
This
pressure.
is very, very
No
exciting.
pressure.
It's for a Drury shirt.
Okay. You ready?
We're ready.
It's Catherine Blakely.
All right. So,
All right.
Catherine,
Yay, Catherine.
congratulations. We will be in touch
Yay.
with you, and we will get you that Drury shirt. So, very exciting. Thank you, Ursula.
You're welcome.
All right, so first question. How important is it for students to go away for school as opposed to staying in their hometown? And this is a really interesting question because Springfield may not be hometown for you folks, but it's very close. So talk a little bit about that. How do you feel about your student being close? How does your student feel about being close to home? And what advice would you give to maybe families whose students are considering Drury from a little bit farther of a distance?
I'm going to take that. You got it.
With Maddie, I mean, being she put all her eggs in one basket, we're 30, 40 miles away. It's still, you know, how would I explain that? I mean,
She's close enough that it's like home either place.
right, yeah.
Okay.
But she
So-
did choose to live on campus her first year, and she didn't have to because we're close enough that she could have gotten a waiver. She chose to live on campus actually for 2 years, and I think that was really important for her to get out away from us and have that experience. And she made some fantastic friends that she wouldn't have made if she we're leaving campus every single night.
Right.
She's a commuter now, and she misses living on campus.
Okay.
But so, I mean, there's good and bad both ways. But I think it's really important, whether it's close by or a far away situation. I think it's important for the students to spend at least 1 year on campus.
Okay. Christy, does Mackenzie live on campus?
So she doesn't. She did
Okay.
her freshman year. I will tell you that initially Mackenzie said her probably freshman or sophomore year, I'm going to Pepperdine in California. I'm going to play soccer and watch and look at the beach. And I said, wow, okay. Keep in mind that if you do that, I'll only get to see you on the holidays because you can't get in your car and just drive home. So as we got closer to time, she started thinking about, well, that seems pretty far. We came to Drury, we met with the coach, we toured the campus, met with some professors, and I think when she was on campus, she said, I don't feel like I'm in Springfield. I feel like I'm somewhere else. I feel like if I go here, I'll still feel like I'm far enough away, but close enough to get back home. And so she, even living on her freshman year, she still felt like that, even though we're in the same town, she still was able to grow and thrive and kind of do her own thing as a freshman.
Okay, great. Ursula?
Very much the same experiences as both of y'all. Riley initially thought she wanted to be far away. I mean, she thought, her experience was, I want to go far away and experience everything. And so I remember when we went to tour Baylor, I said, we're not flying, we're driving. So you can feel about how long that drive is. And I think the more she sat on it, she realized I really want to be, closer to home. But again, she has the full experience of being on a college campus. I mean, she feels like this is her space and
Right.
we don't intrude on it. We lived here in Springfield. I'm literally 15 minutes from her, but I see her maybe once a week.
Okay.
But it's nice she can come home for dinner and enjoy that and still be on campus and have that full college experience.
Okay, great. That was great. Kind of a related question, and we've touched on this a little bit. How does a small campus compare to a big campus? Ursula, did you guys visit any? I know you said you visited Baylor, so that's a very different
and
kind
we
of
visited
place.
Mizzou.
Okay.
Just again, the experience going back to the day that she came and the chemistry professor came out and literally spoke to her. That would have not happened on a big campus. I don't think it would. I mean, I say that, but I don't think it would have happened. And just the class size and really having just really good relationships. She knows her professors and they know her. She can go in
Exactly.
and visit with them. I mean, she's been working with right now, her physics professor. I mean, getting through things that are,
Right.
she probably couldn't have had that one-on-one, attention like she can here at Drury Bear School.
Maddie has emailed her professors before at 10 o'clock at night and actually gotten a response within half an hour.
You wouldn't have got that at one of
just
the
don't
bigger schools, I don't think. I mean,
We don't have a frame of reference for
Right.
that. Neither one of us went to college, and Maddie, we didn't tour any other college, so no frame of reference whatsoever. But just from hearing other people speak about their experiences, I just don't believe it would be the same situation.
I think my husband and I both went to MSU, and my husband he played college golf. So, he like Mackenzie, who travels a lot, he traveled a lot. And so I think the struggles of trying to play a sport, travel, and keep up with your studies is challenging. So for Mackenzie, it's been great for her because her grades are very important to her. She wants perfect grades. So to be able to play the game she loves, the sport that she loves, and go to college and have that close relationship with her professors and be able to reach out to them. Right now she has a concussion, unfortunately. And so, of course, there are issues with taking tests and doing some of the homework. And so she's able to talk to them and they understand what she's going through and they're willing to work with her. And that's very important for her. So we know, considering, being an athlete and trying to have the grades that she wants is a great fit being here.
Okay. So we're going to jump right into a pretty heavy question. What was your biggest concern before your student came to Drury?
Oh, wow.
oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, there's all like the safety concerns. I mean, that was definitely one, is how safe is the campus? Are they going to get enough food? I mean, all those things. But I think safety was a big one. And I mean, I think when we came and toured, they talked about, all the people that were on campus to kind of make sure your student is safe. And if they needed to call, they could get a ride. And also just the small nature of the campus itself too. But safety was probably one of the big things because you're in the city, so that was kind of a big thing for us.
Same here.
Absolutely, top concern. That's our baby girl, and is she going to be safe? And she's never been she's never lived apart from us, from a very small town.
Mhm.
So, yeah, how are you going to keep my child safe? Talk to me now.
Yeah. I would bet that that is probably the number one concern for most of the parents that are watching. As a mom, that would be my concern too, so I
Absolutely.
totally sympathize with that. What have your students' experiences been like on campus? How do they feel on campus?
Maddie says she feels safe. I mean,
Yeah.
I've had more issues. She works here in the administration, and I've had more issues because she says she'll show up and she'll be the only one here, and I'm like, I'm not digging. She said, Dad, it's fine. She said, there's
I'm
too many,
safe,
there's
don't
too many other
worry.
people around. And I'm lucky to where I've worked on the campus in my job,
Mhm.
so I've been here. I know a lot of the maintenance guys. And she says that she wished I wouldn't have talked to the maintenance guys because they come in and check on her and things like that. And Dad gets in trouble.
Yeah.
He was by again, Dad. And, hey, at least he's coming by, you know?
Yeah, checking in on her, that's
Yeah.
good.
And, it's just really nice. It's big enough that they can get that feel,
Mhm.
but it's small enough that everybody takes care of each other.
Mhm.
So, been well pleased.
And I think for Mackenzie, she enjoys seeing the same faces, familiar faces, people that she can know, that she recognizes if she needs something or has a question. She enjoys that.
Good, okay. A similar question, how do you feel about the academic experience at Drury? What has your students' experience been academically? We've touched on this a little bit, talking about the small class sizes,
Right.
but can you talk a little bit about the opportunities that your student has had? I know your daughter is interested in a couple of very different areas, theater
is.
and biology, which are kind of opposite ends of the spectrum a little
Right.
bit.
But it's really cool that she's had that opportunity at Drury to be able to double major in, biology and theater. Theater is just sort of is her fun, happy place, and she would have done that anyhow. So it was really cool that she got to double major in it. And just her professors working with her and knowing like her biochem guy knows, okay, she has a show this week. I know that she might need a little extra help here or whatever. But the academics have been rigorous. It's been hard. It's been tough. It's a hard school. It's not a cakewalk.
No.
And I think we all have pretty bright kids.
Yes.
But they have to study and they've got to work really hard. But I think again, having a good relationship with their professors and that smaller class size is key.
Yeah, and with us, her freshman year, being she's in early education, they threw her right into the school and said, you're gonna figure out if you're gonna like it or not.
Mhm.
And we thought at first it's like, whoa, that's a little rough, but it was the best thing for her.
Mhm.
She's always been good with kids and loves being around kids. She's just a kid magnet. But as soon as she started doing that, right off the bat,
First
she
semester.
knew this is it, and she just looked to the sky and just took off.
That's great.
And all the professors have been behind her, and you can't ask for more than that.
Okay, all right. We have another question about roommates, and I know everybody's lived on campus. Did your students have roommates, or did they have suite mates?
Sweet mates.
Maddie had a suite mate. She
Okay.
lived in Sunderland, and where they have the private bedrooms but a shared bathroom. There were 4 girls, and we all have girls here, so we all accept that with girls comes drama.
Yeah.
A little bit. They're not always going to get along. It's part of the learning process. They have to figure out how to navigate those adult relationships in a civil and a meaningful way and come out on the other side of it. And I think the best thing a parent can do is just stay out of it.
I agree.
They'll figure it out. So let them.
That's good
Yep.
advice.
Yeah.
That's very good advice. Hard to do.
Very,
Right.
very,
Very
very
good
hard to
advice.
do,
That's hard to do.
and confusing for Dad.
Yeah.
Best friends today and hate each other tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's all right.
But here's a great question. What would you tell students from Springfield who are nervous about staying too close to home?
Riley says it's her own world down here. Like she does not feel
Yeah.
like she feels like this is a completely different world. And I tried to tell her that before she came to Drury. I don't think she believed it until she came, and now she's like, this is my town down here. This is my place. These are my people, and and with the benefit of being able to be home in 10 minutes. So that's really cool. So
I agree with that.
Okay, great. Looking through our questions here, we have some kind of housekeeping questions that I can address. Heidi asked, is parking included in the price of tuition and fees, or do you have to purchase a separate parking permit? Anybody know the answer to that?
I think it's
I think it's
included.
It's included.
Yeah.
Yay.
I think we get a shirt, I think, don't
Of our choosing.
So parking is included. There's lots of parking on campus. Even if you have to park in the farthest space away from where you're going, it's what, 5-minute walk. I mean, it's very, very short. So not a terribly big campus. It's kind of big enough, but not too big is what I tell students. Through our housekeeping questions here, somebody asked about ACT and GPA requirements. We do look at the student as a whole. We like to see about a B average is what we're looking for, but we do like to look at the whole student, all of the pieces that make up that student, because they're going to come here and be a lot more than just a GPA or just an ACT score. So if your student is interested, now is a great time to apply, especially if they are seniors already. It's maybe a little bit past time to apply. It's time to get that started, right, Mom?
Yeah. Yeah.
And Dad, it's something that you don't want to put off until kind of the end of the senior year. We are already issuing scholarship and financial aid awards, so definitely want to get in and get that done pretty quickly. On the topic of financial aid, because I'm the director of financial aid and I love that topic, so we're going to talk a little bit about scholarships and financial aid. What was the process like here at Drury for each of you to learn about the scholarships and to kind of work your way through the financial aspect of paying through college?
Okay, I can take it. Our experience, because again, she was doing theater, so she had to try out for the theater scholarship. So that was one, kind of neat thing. And then she also had a minor in choir, so she also had a choir scholarship for a while as well too. So that was really nice, as well as her academic scholarships. And it made Drury very affordable. I mean, it was, one of those things where, you look at that first dollar and you're like, I don't think we can afford this, and then you start kind of looking at, the opportunities with academics or other things that they might be interested in, and Drury makes it very, very, reasonable to have opportunities for them to be able to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. We were terrified when we first met. I'm sorry, did I just talk over you? I apologize. When we first met with the admissions representative here in the Hearth Room, we were terrified because you see how much it is. You're like, oh, okay, I can't write a check for that amount of money. But we were lucky that she qualified for a few scholarships, educational-based scholarships. And it ended up being, I mean, obviously neither one of us, like I said, went to school, went to college. So we had no frame of reference on how to navigate this, and the admissions staff and the financial aid staff were very understanding, because I had a lot of questions and I called a lot, and they might have been ready to shoot me, but they always answered my questions. They were very kind, and they calmed me down. And then when we got the package in the mail, I was like, okay, we can do this. We can afford that.
And I think there is a misconception that Drury is just really, really expensive. I mean, I think probably initially I thought, oh gosh, same thing, can we afford this? And once, with the grades and the ACT, it makes a huge difference academically, and of course if they get other scholarships, it helps out. In fact, I haven't mentioned this, but our son will be attending. We just kind of are finalizing all the details in the fall here. So, to have two going here, that's even a little bit more helpful. His sister doesn't think it's fair, but his academic scholarship isn't that much off of hers, and her grades are substantially better than his. And she's like, how does that work?
It's like, it's okay, don't talk, it's fine.
Put it on the desk, so
It'll
it's
work.
okay.
It's on the bell curve. That's what it is.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go. Okay, great. So you guys mentioned having a visit here in the Hearth Room with your admission counselor, and we just have a question came in that said, we were invited to a one-on-one meeting with our son's admission counselor. Should we go to that?
Yes.
Yes,
yeah.
absolutely.
You will get a lot of answers
Yeah,
to a lot of if you have questions, that's
yeah,
when you'll get your answers.
absolutely. I
Definitely.
highly encourage that.
Absolutely.
Okay, that seems pretty definitive. That's a strong yes. Okay, great. How difficult is it, and I don't think we have anybody that falls into this category, but maybe kind of a little overlap, how difficult is it to balance sports and architecture?
Oh.
We don't have any architecture majors. We do have an athlete.
I think if you're going to try to balance, playing a sport in any kind of degree, and I know the architecture is certainly not easy, then certainly jury is going to be head and shoulders above, just because you have that personal relationship. Mackenzie emails her professors, she texts her professors, they know her personally, she can reach out to them, just like I mentioned with her having the concussion and being able to talk to them and work through that. I think if you want to do a sport and also get a great degree, this is certainly a place to look at, in my opinion.
Okay. All right, another question about safety and security. Patricia wants to know, how safe is downtown?
Well, yeah.
I'll say, so my husband and I lived we were in real estate, so we lived for 8 years in the country. So off 60 and 65, and we just, in the last 6 months, moved to Walnut Street. So we're not very far from Drury, and I find it, what a neat, flourishing area. You have diversity, you have culture, and one of my dear friends, Linda Brown, who started Eden Village, her and her husband David, they live downtown. So I feel like as long as you don't put yourself in bad situations and and you're making good decisions, you are safe. Be aware of your surroundings, but that could happen anywhere. That could be in Southeast Springfield, Center City, anywhere.
Absolutely. I agree.
Okay. So you mentioned a little bit about downtown life. What sorts of events happen on the weekends that your students participate in, either on campus or off campus?
Oh my gosh, there's a lot going on. Well, Riley is involved with a sorority, so she is involved with that, as well as her theater stuff. There's always things going on downtown. I mean, there's always, downtown Springfield has a theater area. I mean, they've got, tons going on. Art walk. I mean, there's just
skating rink.
ice skating rink. There's always concerts going on. Lots of really neat things going on. Very vibrant downtown area. So you can be as involved or not involved as you want to.
Absolutely.
Okay. I have a great question here from Rebecca. Did your student attend the visit day for admitted students? And I think she's talking about #DruryBound coming up on March 8th.
Yes.
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 Okay.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
Maddie loved it. She got to meet some people, made first friends that, on campus with friends that she still has today. And she loved it, and it was a good experience for Aaron and I as well. We had the opportunity to meet with professors and with the head of security. And
Which is a good thing.
Yes.
all of those things. It was all around highly recommend.
Okay.
They put on a really nice day of good
They did.
information and
Fun and good information. So
Yep.
yes, it's a great
Absolutely.
day. If your student has received an invitation to DruryBound, or if they're thinking about coming, I would encourage students to come on that day. We do have kind of two separate tracks. We have a parent track and a student track on that day. So students, we do lots of fun things with the students, and like I said, bowling and tour of
Right.
Springfield if you're from out of town. So lots of fun stuff for the students. We kind of put mom and dad to work though, and we make them talk to the director of security, and we have parent sessions that day. So parents can ask all these questions, and sometimes students get embarrassed when you start asking questions, and they're like, Dad,
Oh, yes, they do.
stop. Dad, don't ask that. Mom, shh, Mom. And so this kind of separates you guys. You can ask anything you want as parents. And believe me, we have heard it all. So you can ask anything you want and get those answers. It's a really great day for students and for parents to get lots of information as you're coming to the end of your senior year. And it's time to start making some decisions. Those are not easy decisions to make. So we want to make sure you are armed with the information that you need to make a good decision for your student and your family. Okay. Let's see. What resources do we have at Drury to help students with anxiety and stress? Any of your students ever get stressed about anything on campus?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, the fitness center here, Riley has really been taking advantage this semester in particular, and she's been going and she's like, I just go in the afternoon and go for a run, and it's been helping her kind of deal with some of that. But I don't know about your kids, but
Maddie really enjoys, I don't really know exactly what this is, but she calls it the hammock.
Okay.
I am assuming it's a hammock somewhere on campus. I don't know. I've never seen one. I've been around the campus a couple of times. Maybe it's
It's in
something.
the northeast corner.
Okay, there you go.
Okay.
When
There
she
you
lived
go.
on campus, she enjoyed spending time in the hammock, just chilling out. She said it wraps you kind of like in a cocoon, and it was very relaxing and allowed her mind to clear, and she was a happy girl.
Great, great. Okay, so lots of opportunities to relax and rejuvenate. Students are obviously very busy, and we don't want them to relax all the time every day. We do want them to get their work done, but
Right.
you know, you can't work all the time and study all the time and have things 24/7. You need a minute to kind of power down a little bit and relax. So very important for students to do that. We do have those resources on campus that are available. Let's see. Okay, next question. What if a student doesn't like his or her roommate? Any advice?
They've got the room counselors that they can go to.
Yeah,
And I know Maddie, on her second year she lived here, some of their roommates in their 4-pod was not getting along very well. So they went to the third party and they had to sit down and discuss what the issues were.
They drew up
You get to sit down and you get to be an adult.
Right.
You know,
they drew up
talk
a
out your
language.
problems,
Mm-hmm.
draw it out. You know, nothing's off the table. Say what you need to say. You know,
With a third party mediator there to you know,
Right.
smooth the rough edges. And
so, I mean,
it's a growth thing. It's a learning experience. So at the end of the day, you live together and you figure it out. It's what you have to do as an adult and as a human being. You just figure it out. And you don't have to be best friends. So I think saying you have to be lifelong best friends with the people that you room with, you just have, I feel like, my opinion, you have to treat everybody with respect and move on.
Right. And, you know, and Drury has lots of different living situations, you know, so if your student is maybe somebody that needs maybe a little more privacy, a Sunderland is a great thing. Like
Right.
Riley lived in Sunderland as well too, where you've got the 4, you know, you share a bathroom, but you have your own space that you can shut the door and
Absolutely.
have your privacy. And then some of the dorms are more you're in there together, so kind of depends on your kid. And but they have lots of ways of resolving conflict. But my biggest thing is just let them do it themselves.
That's
Right.
exactly
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Stay
there
out
again,
of
that's
it.
one of the hardest things to do. But
You
our,
have
our
to.
daughter has grown up a lot. She was always mature for her age, we feel like. But since she's come to Drury, I mean, it's just like night and day. She can problem solve a lot, you know. She'll come to us and ask us our opinion, but she pretty much already has made up her mind, you know, that what she needs to do.
Great.
So,
Okay. Well, on the topic of living on campus, think back to move-in day. What was move-in day like?
awesome.
It was great.
Okay.
Didn't touch a thing.
All these energetic little college kids just came to our truck and we had a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
A lot.
They carried it up the flights of stairs for us and we rode up the elevator with just standing there looking at each other like, hey, this is all right.
I mean, they swarm your car, and next thing you know, it's empty. I'm like, oh, I have my purse. Okay,
Yeah.
we're good.
Didn't even break a sweat. I mean,
Yeah,
it was awesome.
It was fun. I kind of felt like it was like going off to summer camp. Like it was that
Yeah.
atmosphere. They come in and it's very high energy.
Oh,
and-
I'm sad we missed that.
Oh,
So
yeah.
our soccer players move in early, so they
Oh,
all move in
right,
early.
yeah.
So no one,
Yeah.
Tony and I
Oh.
carried everything in.
Oh.
I carried everything with tears actually.
Oh.
I'm like, no one's in this bed. Can I sleep here? Kenzie's like, oh my gosh, we're so embarrassed.
Yeah. It's time for you to go.
Yeah,
Mom.
time for you to go.
Yeah. Oh, but yeah, if
That
you're not
sounds
moving
fun.
in, if you're not moving in early, it really is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
They make it a super cool thing, and they also do it where it's like they get them moved in, they go, okay, mom and dad, time to go.
Time to
like
go.
just be
Oh, yeah. We were
prepared
not
to be
prepared for
shooed
that
out.
one.
Yeah, probably a
Yes.
good thing.
Yes,
Yep.
be shooed out, and they have them right away doing things, and
They're
so
busy
that's
all
cool.
Very busy.
weekend.
Yeah.
Like they don't stop. They have activities from the time they shoo away the parents. Those kids are busy until class starts on the following Monday. And it's a very good design. the way they do it.
It is.
It keeps the students busy. That
It
way.
does.
And
Yeah.
before they know it, classes start and they're headlong into the semester.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they didn't even have time to miss their mother.
We on the other hand were crying, but
Yes.
when I drove all that 10 minutes home.
Do any of your students have part-time jobs off campus or on campus?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay,
Yes.
4 yeses.
Yep.
Maddie works in admissions.
Okay,
She's an intern. She's done that for the whole time,
okay.
first semester.
3 years now.
So Mackenzie tries to work during, when it's not soccer season, so off season, and that kind of varies. So she works a lot, helps us in our office, and then she actually has worked at the Rock, so serving tables and things of that nature. And I think it's good because I tell you, not to talk too much about sports, but for her, when it's off season, she's like, this is so weird. I have like all this time, like I need more stuff to
Something
do.
to do,
And the neat thing about, I think, having a regimented schedule where you're used to being spread thin is that when you don't have that, you need that. And so it's a great time to, you know, if you can keep up with your grades and make a little extra money too.
Absolutely.
And Riley also worked too. She worked in admissions for a while, and now she has a paid internship off campus
Nice.
at an optometrist.
That's great.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question. Let's see. In large schools, students have access to the pools and basketball courts. And how does that work here at Drury? Do your students use those facilities here at Drury?
Riley does.
Maddie hasn't. She has access, but she just doesn't. She is on the dance team, and she feels like with the practices for that, she gets enough exercise. And she doesn't live on campus anymore, but when the years that she did live here, she still didn't access it, even though she could have.
Okay. All right. Let's see. What other questions do we have here? What surprised you most about Drury in either a good way or a bad way?
Oh my. Surprised me most.
Maybe the access to the staff, to the teachers, professors.
Yeah.
You know, you can meet with an admissions rep, and obviously it's their job to get students, and so you think, okay, yeah, you say this is all great and grand, but I'm from Missouri, show me.
Mhm.
And then it is really like that. So that was surprising for me.
You know, I think Mackenzie has really enjoyed getting to know, there's so many international students here.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's been fun for her to get to know and make friends with people from other countries and learn about their cultures. And of course, she says, well, one day I'm going to where they live and we, you know, and travel abroad, which would be amazing. I'd love that for her. But I think that was kind of a neat thing. Is I knew there were some international students. I didn't realize how many. And I think that's pretty neat to get to meet them and learn about their cultures
Absolutely.
and families.
His name, yeah.
Great. So back to the dorms. We have lots of questions about residence life. What are some must-haves for your students in the residence halls when they were in the residence halls?
Oh boy.
Flip-flops for the shower.
Yeah.
You're sharing a shower.
Yeah.
I think a shower caddy too.
Yes.
Shower
Yeah.
caddy
Shower
is
caddy.
super
Okay,
helpful.
that's good. Now, one thing that the dorms had that I didn't realize was the refrigerators. At least in Sunderland, they had
Yes.
the little
Yeah.
mini fridges, so you didn't necessarily have to have a fridge. We did, and microwave. Wasn't there a microwave too? Yes, a little
Mhm.
fridge and microwave. So you didn't have to have that necessarily. But
A Keurig. is
yeah,
a nice
Keurig.
one.
Yeah.
Keurig was really nice. A big bean bag, something
Mhm.
cozy to, you know.
Those collapsible storage bins, those are really nice because if they're not using them, they can be folded up and tucked away.
Mhm.
But if they need extra storage, it's there for them to pull out. Well, I think the beds are high enough in Sunderland that some of those will just slide underneath.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's
And you
a
can
nice
lock
option.
them up too. I mean, there's
That's
lots
true,
of,
yeah.
you can
Yeah.
configure the rooms kind of any which way,
Yeah.
for the most part.
And normally they do 2 or 3 times
Yeah.
throughout the semester.
Yeah. Yes, they do.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they
You
do.
guys are nicer than us. We didn't allow that.
That wasn't an option.
Well, she did kind of without us even knowing. I'm like,
Right.
oh, we rearranged. Okay.
Mackenzie's like, oh, look at this. I'm like, oh, you're on the ceiling now.
That's
practically.
amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So how often did you visit your students in the residence halls?
Oh, it wasn't as often as I mean, I kind of thought I'd see her more, but I realized, you know, she was kind of doing her own thing. I probably saw her 3 or 4 times the entire year in her residence hall. I mean, she would come home, but
Right.
going
Right.
to her residence hall, and that included move in and move out. So probably 4 times.
I think that's fairly accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't visit the dorm much.
All right. So it says 2-part question. Is there tutoring available and is that arranged through the professors?
I would imagine so. Riley has, I don't think, ever
No, Maddie
used
hasn't
a
visited it.
tutor. I don't think
Maddie's
she-
always just found somebody she's coming here with and got with them,
study with
Study
them.
groups.
Yeah,
So,
study groups.
study groups. She's done a lot of study groups in the library.
I would imagine that there are tutors,
Yeah.
but No.
That's
Correct,
a good thing.
Yes, yes.
There
Are
are,
there
there
tutors
yes,
here? I'm
there
sure.
are, there's a home tutoring program, officially there is, but so many of our students do just kind of get together and say, hey, we all three have calculus, let's go study together in the library. The other great thing about kind of having that small university or that small major or program is you are seeing the same students kind of over and over in some of the same classes. Not all exactly the same students, but familiar faces, and you kind of get to know those students as you
Right.
grow through your program, and you know who you can turn to if you need a copy of notes or
Right.
if you
Yes.
you know missed something in class and you want to talk about that particular day. So lots of opportunities for that, yes, on campus.
That's good to know. Just in case. Wow, thanks for the question.
And then the other question is someone other than the student monitoring their grades before it's too late to recover at the end of the semester?
Ask me that once my son is here, so
Yeah, I've never, first of all, I don't think I could, I mean, I guess I could log on, but she's an adult now, and so, I've never really had to with her. I mean, we're all kind of in that same boat too. We have pretty
Right.
driven kids.
Yeah.
Um,
But I checked.
did you?
Did you?
Well, and with the sorority, I mean, Maddie's a sorority,
yeah,
so
They
they
had
kind of
to.
do a check
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
within themselves,
Yeah, they have to have a certain GPA.
GPA.
Yeah.
That's true.
And when
You
they
know.
fall below, they are on judicial.
You gotta go through judicial and all that, so.
So there's a motivator there to keep up the grades.
That's true. It's the same thing, I think, probably with all of the academics. They have study halls and the coaches watch their grades pretty closely too to make sure they're all on task because it's pretty important for each sport to have a high GPA as well.
All right. What dining options are available on campus?
Your kids are gonna eat, don't worry. I should have listed that as my biggest worry. Is
Yeah.
my kid gonna eat? Safety was up there, but I was worried about the food too. And she's a tiny little thing, and I thought, she can't miss a meal. But there's the CX and the Commons. Those are the two dining options, and there's all different kinds of meal plans. If you're looking at meal plans, choose what you think you need and downgrade one.
I would agree with that too.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah.
Well, I learned that one the
Sorry.
hard way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would agree with that too. And you can always add on.
Yes.
You can always add on, but she never used as much as I thought
Never.
she would use.
We ended up with 100 extra swipes one semester because she was not eating on campus. She was doing Uber Eats, and I highly recommend that parents watch the Uber Eats.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that's too easy.
choose what you think, come down one.
And then go down
You'll
one.
be fine.
And you can always change the meal plan at the end of the semester
Yes.
too.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
if you see in fall semester you have 100 meals left, probably want to change your meal plan for the spring semester, definitely. Okay, what do the students think of the food on campus? Do they feel like they have enough options, good options?
Good. Yeah,
I think so.
I think the CX is really popular. For,
Oh, yeah.
That's super
There's a
popular.
Starbucks in the CX, where they serve Starbucks coffee. That was always Maddie's kind of biggest downfall. She would go in there and spend her Panther bucks on the Starbucks.
College students gotta have coffee.
I
Gotta
think
have
it's a
coffee.
good, and it's a good place for them to be able to visit. I mean, I
Yeah,
don't,
it's
it's
very
like
social.
it's a social thing, and I
Mhm.
think that that's really important to have.
Okay. Are there ever class cancellations due to weather?
Yes.
Yeah.
We've had a few of those this
It's
winter.
rare
Yeah.
though.
It is rare.
It's very rare, but it does happen.
Okay. All right. Let's see what other questions we have here. Was it easy for your student to find friends after they got here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think the more involved they are, it goes hand in hand. You can't be involved and not make a friend, at least
Right.
one. So Maddie's on the dance team, she's in a sorority, she lived on campus.
I
I
think,
mean, it just-
and I
it just
think
goes with
living
it.
on campus helps a
I
lot
agree.
too.
Absolutely.
I think it's, I mean, and some kids, obviously that can't make that happen, but if you're living on campus, you're just bound to make some friends. I mean, yeah, and then
Absolutely.
get yourself involved, and then it just happens organically.
Exactly.
So another question about athletics. If you have a student who is thinking about joining an athletic team here at Drury, what advice would you give to those parents or to that student?
So I would think reach out to the coach. So the coach for whatever sport it is they're looking at, reach out to them, let them know that your son or daughter has interest. Try to set up a meeting with them. I know for Mackenzie, can't remember if he reached out to us. It doesn't matter. I mean, reach out to the coach, let them know you have interest, and typically they're more than happy to set up a time and meet with your your child, and at the same time, you can also take a tour of the campus, which is what we did, and come with a list of questions. And they're happy to answer all of those questions, and it's the best way to do it.
Okay. We have a great question that just came in. What is the best thing that has happened at Drury for each of your students?
That's a good question.
That's a really
Yeah.
good
I
question.
know. There've been so many. I mean,
Yeah,
in my
it's-
mind, I'm like, there's been so many. I don't know which one I would pick.
I think for Maddie, personal growth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
She's
think
always
that'd
been a
be the
really
biggest
solid kid and really happy and well-grounded, but to set her down and talk about her plans for her future and this look comes on her face when she starts talking about teaching and how passionate she is about that and all these big plans that she has and how she's going to change her little corner of the world. Like her experience here has really helped focus that in her. She's a happy kid, and we love that.
I think the same thing. So for Mackenzie, coming here and I guess finding kind of her niche, being happy, being well-rounded and being grounded and doing really well, making the grades, and certainly she has grown a lot in maturity as well. I think kind of living on your own and learning what that looks like and having roommates is a big learning curve for them, and she loves it. And she loves it and she's happy. As a parent, that's all you want is for your child to thrive and be happy, and for her to be doing that and being able to get an education and play a sport and what's most important. So
Yeah. And I think for Riley too, I think that she thrives on being challenged, and Drury has certainly given her lots of opportunities to be challenged in many different ways, from an on-campus job to the classes to, the position she's held within her sorority to other things. She's had lots of really cool opportunities to be challenged and to grow.
All great things for your
Yeah.
students. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
So another question, is it possible to get too involved in activities on campus?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think all of our kids have.
Yeah.
Yeah, she had to pull back. She had to drop her minor in choir because she just said, I can't even eat. I don't even want to eat and shower. And, so, I mean, they do. Because there is so much. There
Yeah.
is so much to do and so many opportunities. And so they have to find a good balance. So.
kind of pick and choose.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Okay. So another question for you as parents. The college search process is very long and involved and sometimes requires travel to various places. If you went through this process again, what would you do differently about the college search?
It was one and done for us. So
Yeah.
they'll have to speak to that because we certainly cannot.
Well, I think with Mackenzie, when we got down to time to make a serious decision, and let's look at what's realistic and what's logical for her to do, I think in her heart, she felt like this was the right place. She had other opportunities to go other places and play soccer, but she just really felt a true connection here. And she felt like she had a pull here. Now my son, the same thing. He is possibly going to be playing a sport here as well, and I think for him, he was kind of here and there, and when it really comes down to it, I think he realizes that this is a great place, because for the students, coming here and having a great connection with your professor is very important, but also for us as parents, turning your child over, whether it be to the dance instructor
Right.
or whoever is kind of overseeing whatever your child is participating in, you want to make sure it's a good person, someone who's going to have a positive impact on your child. And I think Drury does a great job of finding those people and hiring them to where you feel confident that when they have so much interaction with your child and so much invested in them, that it's going to be a good experience, and that's pretty important.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Any advice on things you do differently next time around, Ursula?
I don't know if I would necessarily do anything differently. I mean, I felt like the way we came to the conclusion, she came to the conclusion of where she wanted to go, it felt right. Like, it just felt right. You just kind of knew and it felt right. There were some things I'd be doing differently. We also have a senior boy too that, now that might do some different things with him, but for her and her decision here, that's a whole other story. But no, I mean, we really, Drury makes it a very easy process, and it makes it very, when you're here, it's hard to kind of say, ooh, there must be some better, some that are better, because it just feels so like home.
Great, that's wonderful. What do your students each do to stay on top of their studies?
They study
Study.
Yeah,
all the time.
all the time.
Time
Right.
management
Time
too,
management.
is very important, and I think that this will be a struggle for my son. But, you know, and time management is really big, and, you know, Mackenzie has learned that, and, that's pretty important. But yes,
Yeah.
don't put it off, get it done.
Maddie likes to work ahead when she can. It's not always possible, but if she sees an opportunity like, oh, okay, this reading is not due till next week, but I can do it now because I have a block of time. It's not going to take me that long. So she works ahead when she can. But the reality is you're here to get an education, and that involves a lot of studying.
A lot of studying and time management.
Yes.
That's it.
Okay. Kristen wants to know, what's the best thing about being in an LLC? So I know we had a couple of folks saying their student lived in Sunderland, they were in those living learning communities.
Right.
There's a group of students who live together and have a similar topic in a class. What was their favorite thing about their LLC and living in Sunderland together?
Yeah.
Um,
The camaraderie, I mean,
Yeah.
just, that's where Madison started flourishing, you know, meeting people from different countries, foreign countries,
different
with
backgrounds.
different backgrounds, all in, you know, they'd all gather up in the room and order pizza and, you know, start talking. They just kind of start having round tables on where you're from and, you know, what do you do and this and that. And
Maybe movie night.
yeah, movie nights, and that's just where she just really, you know, forget mom and dad.
It's that community part of the living
Yeah.
learning community.
Yeah,
But yet they all had a similar interest in terms of what their kind of their major
Right.
was, or something where they all kind of had that common bond. So it was an easy way to click with
Right.
the
Absolutely.
kids who had similar interests.
Absolutely.
Any of your students, have they done a study abroad or planning to do a study abroad?
Well, I would love for Mackenzie to do a study abroad, especially with my husband being from Spain. He moved here to go to college at MSU, and his whole family lives there. So we'd love to squeeze that in. Of course, hopefully next year or her senior year. I think to have that opportunity, and the fact that Drury offers that is pretty big. And in fact, when we were originally looking at colleges, that was a big deal to her that she could have that opportunity here. So I hope she takes advantage of it.
Okay. My student will be a transfer student and playing soccer. How welcoming are other students?
It's a great question. I would like to think very welcoming. You certainly hope so, and especially for, you know, an athlete, I would hope that, you know, no matter what sport it is, or even, you know, if it's the dance team that they take them in. I know for Mackenzie as a sophomore, so she just went through last fall the incoming freshman, and you know, I always encouraged her, look, you've been the new person on campus or in a classroom. Take those people in, you know, make them a part of it. And so I've really watched her bond with the freshman girls and create pretty neat relationships and friendships. And so I hope that that would be the same for all the students, athlete or non-athletic students transferring over.
Okay. Back to the residence halls.
It's a big one.
It's a scary time.
And this is almost as important as food. How does laundry work in the residence halls?
There's in
Laundry room.
Sunderland,
Yeah.
there's a washing machine, like a bank. There's like 2 or 3 washing machines and dryers on every floor.
Right.
That was
That's right.
Sunderland.
I'd forgotten already. I was like, what did we do for laundry? I don't recall having laundry, so she must have done it. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Okay, very important. Again, almost as important as food.
Right.
You gotta have clean clothes. So that is an important part. And lots of these are, you know, the big philosophical questions about how do you feel on a campus and how you make these decisions. But there are a lot of everyday pieces that go into the college experience. What am I gonna eat? What am I gonna wear? And where am I gonna sit? And who am I gonna sit next to? And are those
Right.
people gonna be nice? And am I gonna learn things? So
You're going to be
lots
alone
of
at the lunch
details.
table.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So this is one of the reasons that the college search process is so hard, because you have to have answers to all the big questions and all of the little questions all at the same time. And it would take a very long time to learn the answers to all of those questions at any one school. And when you're trying to learn that much information about multiple schools in a year or less, potentially, it's hard to make those decisions. when your students were making those decisions, did it come down to kind of one thing or two things? What did it come down to when they said, this is where I want to go?
Yeah.
I think it's just almost like for Mackenzie, it was a gut feeling. I'm like, you know what, you need to think about it, pray about whatever it is that you do to help make that decision. Take that time to yourself. And I told her, I said, it's not my decision, it's your decision. We want you to do what's best for you, what you feel like your heart's telling you to do. And I think, you know, it's hard to make that decision unless you come here and you tour the campus and you talk to people.
I don't know why Maddie was so focused on Drury.
Yeah, we
She
didn't
just
know
was.
anybody that
No,
come to Drury.
no one in our family went to Drury. I knew it was here. That was the extent of it. So there was just something drew her here, and that was it. She was just, she didn't even want to look at MSU, Evangel, nothing. She's like Drury, and that's it. I said, oh, okay, well, all right.
Makes the decision
Yeah,
easy
it
when there's
makes
only
it
one choice.
Yeah.
So-
And you hope it works out.
Do your students feel like they found their community here on campus?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
That's good. Well, we have just a couple of minutes left. Any parting thoughts that you would share with parents of seniors? And I know a couple of you are parents of seniors, so very personal,
That's
maybe
right.
advice to each other here.
Hug it out. Hug it out. Lots of deep breaths and try to enjoy the process. I mean, try not to be super stressed about it because it will all kind of, the pieces will come together and all of a sudden you'll get to the other side and you'll say, of course, that's where we were supposed to be. And so just don't let it become so overwhelming and so stressful that you don't take the time to just enjoy the visits, enjoy this time with your senior, enjoy it, and I don't know. Yeah.
It always works itself out.
It does.
It does, always
It
works
does.
itself out, yeah.
Mm-hmm. It really
Your
does.
student will end up where they're supposed to be. We would love for it to be Drury, but if it's
Yeah.
not, they'll end up where they're supposed to be. So just lean in and love it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to come around again unless you have a younger child.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just enjoy it. That's really good advice.
That's right.
Well, thank you all again so much for sharing your insights. It's very helpful to all of those parents that are out there maybe going through this for the first time, or maybe it's been a few years and they're trying to refresh, to see the parent perspective and to hear right from you guys what it's been like to be a Drury parent. So thank you again very much. Appreciate it.